Hey there, I'm Christina, and I have been journaling via making videos and posting them on YouTube. My time being treated at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota for chronic pain and depression. The program is called PRC, which is Pain Rehabilitation Center. So that's where I've been for the last it's a 17-day program, but we don't go on weekends, so I've been here for about 24 days total. So I graduated yesterday, and I'm going home today, and I'm very excited because I haven't seen my family besides on my phone for almost a month. So I have if you're new and you just stumbled upon this video, I have other videos to talk about kind of everything I've been doing, but I knew coming into this, the philosophy around this program is not to cure me of my pain, which is from migraines. I know they can't cure migraines. If they could, they would make a lot of money because a lot of people have migraines and there's not great ways to treat it, really. There's some medications, but then some of those medications, as I've talked about previously, are not necessarily great medications to take. So long term, I'm going to clarify that. If you have an acute injury or you get a migraine more rarely, like once a month or less, then some of these medications are exactly what you need. And that's what I used to do before my migraines became daily occurrences. So I'm feeling good and still scared, a little scared and anxious and excited. If you know me, you know I have all the feelings. So I think the biggest takeaways that I got from this and that I think is important is how our brains work. They are neuroplastic. We can create new connections in our brains that will keep our alert system on high because we perceive danger. When you have a chronic injury or illness or even mood, depression, anxiety, PTSD, all of that, your body wants to protect you. So it puts your nervous system on high alert. And when you're on high alert, you're ready for danger. So things that might not have caused you pain or frustration or anger or any moods, when your system's on a high alert, it processes it and then brings you back down. And that's what it does. Well, what I have done is I've done that too well for too long. So my system's always ready for danger. So things that didn't maybe hurt or frustrate me or worry me before I changed my brain, they would be fine. But now, so I get irritable. I have focus problems. I let things get to me that didn't used to get to me because, we can only control what we can control. It's a good saying that someone said. Also, you can't control the uncontrollable. There's lots of ways to say it, but that is true. Like putting a lot of energy into trying to control something that you have no control over, which a lot of times can be other people, policies, how a work environment operates. Sometimes you just don't have control over these things and you have to either go with it or go somewhere else. So a lot of times these things, they didn't used to really get to me. I didn't, like early in my adulthood life, I didn't have that personality. I would be the one that's like, okay, well, what can we do in this situation? And let's do what we can. And then if we can't, that's it. You have to just accept that. So as I went through this program, it's something that I really noticed about myself. And one of the things that I struggled with my mood was I'm very different person now than I used to be. And that's one of the things, like I loved the fact that I used to not let things really get to me. I mean, of course you're going to have emotion over it, but it didn't last. I didn't overreact to it, and I didn't let it cause me more anxiety or grief or depression, because those moods, if you have them chronic, can cause you pain. People that start with a mood disorder of some variety, whether it be anxiety or depression, PTSD, I think I could be wrong on my statistics, but they are, I think, like 4 times more likely to have chronic pain. Because your brain is so connected with how we have emotions and how we think about our emotions and how our behaviors work. They all work together as part of our central nervous system. So it's fascinating. As someone who loves science, I loved learning that part of it. I like having a reason behind why I've had such a hard time managing my pain symptoms with my headaches. So, and I came here because I was in a very depressed state, and I knew I needed to be somewhere where I could get the help and people would make me do things I needed to do, and then I could show myself that I could do them and build some confidence back up. My mood increased dramatically as far as in the positive direction, so less depressed, less feelings of anxiety and anger and fear. I'm still not, I have a lot of work to do. So this is graduation. This is where I've learned what I needed to learn. And now I have to go home and continue to work. Continue to work with a therapist, make sure I'm doing things daily that they've taught me here that I can do and I need to do in order to keep going in the right direction. So it's going to be work still, for sure. And I think, you can't come into this program saying they're going to cure my pain. No, they teach you how to live with pain and reduce medications that might be exacerbating your symptoms. And there's a lot of support. They actually let you come back. I guess they do every Monday. They have, for people who have gone through the program, can come back every Monday and just talk about things. And I think that's cool. If I live near Rochester, Minnesota, I might do that, but I don't. So I did make some really good friends, though, and I have connections now for when I am having struggles that I can talk to someone who knows what I'm going through because they've gone through the same things. So I went over all of it yesterday, and I've increased everything in the right direction. I've gotten off of several medications. I feel more clear in my brain because of it. I'm still on a couple that do have cognitive impairment as a side effect. So again, I'm not back to a different version of myself that I was before. But I am gaining the confidence in who I am now and my confidence in my abilities to manage my chronic pain and have quality of life. And that's what I needed, and that's why I'm here. I think it was a very successful program for me, and I saw the success in other people that went through it with me. And, I highly recommend it. One of the things that, is spotlighted with this is that when we go to our doctors for chronic symptoms, they often treat us the same way they would treat an acute symptom. So, and they're focusing on our sensory, what we feel and where we feel it and how we feel it. And they don't often go into how that will affect our mood, our thought process, and it needs to be treated for all of it. So it's just our healthcare system's not set up that way. My primary care doctor is awesome. She's the one, when I kept going on about what I need and where I feel I've gotten to in my life, she's the one who referred me to this program, and I'm grateful. And when I go back to my neurologist for my follow-up with him, I'm going to be like, look, if you got other people like me that are just struggling with chronic daily headaches and they're just miserable and the depression is in there, like, this is the right program for them. So I think our medical doctors need to know this exists. And there's a few different, like Mayo Clinic is where I went. I know there's like a few other big hospitals that do it as well, but it's still not like everywhere. I think I had 3 locations to choose from for this program. So, and and it's with the science and psychology and physiology and all of that, we learn. As a scientist myself, we learn. And this is something a lot of the human population does not necessarily understand. Well, American population for sure does not understand science and how it is constantly changing, because we learn more as we get better at investigating, whether it be we learn something from the previous study we did, or we get more new technology that's able to detect things we weren't able to detect before. I mean, within this, you can see how people's brains light up when there's someone with chronic symptoms and there's someone with not, and they experience the same, stimuli. You can see it. You can, like, they've seen it with people with phantom limb pain, that they can see in the brain where it's lighting up as if I have pain in my foot, even though that foot is not there. So we get the technology, we learn more. Scientists, and if they're good scientists and good medical professionals and psychologists, even, as we accept the data that we get because it is what it is, and we can't go in with our final thoughts on what's going to happen in our brain. You don't want to bias it. You have to go in with a hypothesis, and you might be proven right and you might be proven wrong, and maybe something completely different pops up. I mean, a lot of medications are like that. They're developed for one thing, but we find out as a side effect they really can treat this other thing. So science is so nebulous, and it's great when you see a result and then you try to make sense of it. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you can. So anyways, I'm going off on a tangent about science because I love it so much. But I really enjoyed learning all of that, because as a scientist and very analytical person, I like having something that makes sense, and why I struggled so hard to manage my pain and then my depression and anxiety, which bled into me managing my life and how I interacted with people and how I could work or not work and how things got to me. And I'm not perfect now. I mean, I'm never going to be perfect, but I still have a lot of fear. I still have the instant, as soon as I feel the headache, that instant reaction of, it's going to get worse. I'm not going to be able to leave the bed. I need medication. The medication's not going to work. It's what we call catastrophizing, and I do it really well. And I have to break myself of that. So I'm doing it because now I can have those thoughts and those reactions that pop up, and my emotions around it, and the fear and the anxiety. And then I can take a moment and think about it more logically and get my emotions to hopefully follow me, and definitely my behaviors to follow me, in a way to say, I've gone through this before. It didn't last forever. I have good days without a migraine. And when I have had a migraine, you know what? I was still productive. And maybe I didn't, exercise for as long as I would without a migraine, but I still did, 10 minutes of walking on the treadmill. I mean, that's an accomplishment when you're in pain, to be able to just do a little bit, do some moderation and modification, we like to say, so that I can get through that day. But knowing that I can, and I will have a good day at some point. It may not be the next day, but hope, maybe the day after that. But having those new memories that I can give to my brain, the new history, I guess I should say, a history of the fact that I was able to get through it without staying in bed and without taking certain medications. I went through a migraine where I didn't take any medication for it besides my monthly. I do take like preventive medications that I'm not off of yet, 2 of them for migraines. So, but I didn't reach for, you know, the medications I've been weaned off of. So, or even Mayo, which is my, you know, what we call rescue med. But anyways, I was proud of myself. But that's me creating that history in my brain so that I can go to that when I have a difficult day. So I learned a lot. And my scores coming out showed that not only do I have a much better mood, my depression is much lower, but my abilities and confidence in my abilities, that's what I'm looking for. My confidence in my abilities to have the life that I want and manage these symptoms, that increased quite a bit. So I came in very hopeless, very depressed, very anxious, and pain every day. And the pain is real. And that's something I have to stress. I know I'm talking about the brain and the mind and how it works, but it makes real pain. People have phantom limb pain, and they feel the pain. People have aches and pains when there's no injury, but they're just clinically depressed and have severe depression. It can lead to pain because of how your brain works. The pain is real. So, because sometimes people just don't understand, or they think it's not real. Sometimes you think it's not real yourself, like you're going crazy, but this makes sense. And I want to make sure that people who need it can look into it and see if it would be right for them, because you have to be willing to do the work and accept the things that they're telling you. At least you don't have to accept them, but at least listen to them and think about them and ask questions. But if you're willing to do that, and you're someone who's been dealing with chronic pain, especially if it's tied to any kind of a mood disorder, and you want to have your life back, and you want to be able to live life with less pain, with less medication, this is a good program. It really is. Highly recommend. The people are great. All of them have been there for many years. I mean, when you're in a system, when you're a program where everybody's been there for like 15 to 30 years, they believe in it. It's obviously a good working environment, because people don't stay in jobs that long unless they're really enjoying their work. And you can tell they do. They really care, and they're really good. And you make good connections with other people. So I'll be heading home today. I've just packed up and hope that my suitcase is not over 50 pounds, but I feel like it might be. So I'm going to be heading home today and get to hug my babies tonight. And, I think I'll probably check in when I have good days or difficult days, this is my journal. So, and my physical therapist, she's like, go make a video just of what you went through and how you're feeling and how you're doing. And I'm like, been there, done that. So, but yeah, it was a good suggestion. And I'm going to do it so that I can come back and look at myself and talk to myself, because one of the things I love doing is trying to help other people. And I can give other people advice as an outsider looking in. And I need to, that's the same advice I should give to myself. And I don't often listen to myself. But I should, because I'm smart. It's positive self-talk. Okay. So I guess that's it. And, I will check back in once I'm home and see how I settle in, and hope that my family isn't staring at me like I'm a bug or under a microscope, because I'm worried that everyone's just going to be looking at me waiting to see what I do. So please don't do that. I'm going to live my life. And, I appreciate you guys for caring and wanting to know how I'm feeling. And I'm letting you know I'm doing really good. So much better than 3.5 weeks ago. So when we're together, let's just enjoy life together and not worry about the things we can't control. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.